We have a new presidential elect for the United States, Donald Trump. If you're still in shock last night, it's okay. Both myself and Jason have Irish coffees in front of us. It makes it makes it a little numb.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm exhausted just because when it comes to every 4 years, I want to stay up and watch the speeches and concession speeches, victory speeches, whichever one. It just went late this time around. It was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning before I went to sleep. Obviously, we had a lot of fun here at the TYT studios for the election yesterday. And you wake up in the morning and you go, I'm really happy that I get to talk about sports for a living just because anytime there's a vote, it's not that much on the line when it comes to Steph Curry winning MVP over maybe, let's say, Kawhi Leonard. So it's at least we get to bring you, outside, I guess, of this clip itself for the remainder of the day, the 3 other clips to take your mind a little bit off the things that we're going to have in the future. I think everyone knows, for the most part, where Francis and I align on a lot of these things. But let's get into the first story in terms of Donald Trump and the effect it will have on the sports world. Yeah,
so like whilst there's a lot of uncertainty on his political policies and how it's going to impact the world, it's the very same kind of status we have when it comes to sports, because there's a lot of major sporting competitions coming up that with a Donald Trump ran presidency, it can affect it, it can assist it, it can hinder it. There's a lot of decisions that we're just kind of waiting in limbo to see. One of the main ones that they've referenced in this BBC article is that you got to look at things such as the US's 2024 Olympic bid, whether or not they will further investigate FIFA. As we know, the US was a prominent figure when it came to the persecution of FIFA and their allegations in Russia. There was very strong tension there between Russia and FIFA. As you remember, they blamed the US for kind of being that unnecessary detective. Like you're kind of poking your nose where it's not needed. And then that goes forward to the 2026 World Cup and their bid for that, and the continual global expansion of American football, baseball, basketball, as we know, they're going across seas. So how will that all pan out? The first one to talk about is, if you thought that there was going to be any adjustment with the World Cup in Russia, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. It's going to be there, and it's going to be prominent. Not like if it was Hillary Clinton, she would be going and be like, take it out. Yeah, no, I'm just saying there would be maybe a little bit more tension when it came to it, a little bit, maybe more eyes on Russia and how they were going to handle it. They're going to have a free pass. There's going to be no problem there because, as we know, one of the first people to come out and congratulate Donald Trump was Vladimir Putin. He's wanting to smooth all the relations between the US and them. And I think there is that. I think I will safely say I think that's going to carry over to Qatar. I think as long as there's investment there, I don't see any sort of US involvement to try and hinder that World Cup in Qatar. I really don't think there's going to be much involvement when it came to FIFA because, as we mentioned, the last point on it is that it really did put a lot of strain on Russia. Russia relied so much on that World Cup, and when they saw the United States start to kind of poke at them and be like, what's going on here? Yeah, where's the money coming
tension
from?
In general.
There was like Vladimir Putin, who you don't expect the world leader of a country, sorry, the leader of a country, not world leader, Jesus Christ. You don't expect the leader to come out of a country and be like, what do you get? Like, you guys, why are you coming and investigating us when it came to soccer? Like, what's going on here? But World Cups are huge for countries, especially countries that rely on that growth and that tourism. So he was angry.
They're huge for countries when the country is economically stable and has the infrastructure to hold and maintain the influx of tourism and everything, and of course contractors that go into building these stadiums. It's good if the country is able to hold it. Russia, I think, is in a situation unlike that of to at least a severe degree of where Rio was with the Olympics and the World Cup, that like it did probably more damage than it did good. We did a lot of coverage on the Olympics for this year, 2016 Olympics, when it came to which countries really should not be hosting these things, and in that case, it was. I wanted to get into the. Is there more on?
Yeah, there's another thing here which is interesting. It's the US are outright favourites at the moment for the 2026 World Cup, right? So this is going to be way into the future. This is going to be post Donald Trump's presidency.
Well, maybe that's even if there's 4 more years.
Even if there's 4 more years, like it's impossible for him to be around for them. But the bid will clearly be made at that point. And there is a lot to go into whether or not you're going to be economically stable, which, as we know, FIFA don't often uphold, as Brazil, for an example, as many other countries, for an example, as Qatar, for an example. They may be economically stable, but there's a lot of people really killing themselves, literally, to try and get that deadline made. Yeah, crimes against humanity. So there's a lot more that you would imagine when FIFA are looking at the checklist. Are like, okay, is the country economically stable? Do they have an outlook that is more inclusive? Well, that's one thing that it might become a little bit constrained because we don't know what Donald Trump's policies are, but at the moment there's a clear racial divide in this country. There's clear the distinction between who voted for Donald Trump and who didn't, and the people that are going to feel that they're going to be hard done by when it comes to this. I mean, at the moment there's still so many laws in this country that uphold those conservative, lack of progressive values, such as if you look at the inability to have transgender bathrooms or equal rights in certain areas. Those, under Donald Trump presidency, I'd be surprised if those changed. And those are things that, if you have a World Cup that's supposed to include so many different cultures,
right.
How is that going to appeal to that? So as much as I'm not going to sit here and make it about Trump's policies and what he's going to do to kind of adjust it, it's just these are points that you have to take into consideration when it comes to one of the biggest tournaments in the world.
Right. All right, so to this sports world and Twitter reaction, before I get into that real quick, I wanted to read the one optimistic tweet I've seen all morning, and it comes from within our own company. It comes from J.R. Jackson, who's been on this show a lot of time. A lot of people can complain. A lot of people can be angry and point fingers and blame. Mm-hmm. The reality is that's who was voted into office. Yeah. And you have to respect that the same way that if it was the other side, those who supported Trump would be screaming out of anger that how could she be in there. But you have to respect the fact that that's who was voted in. That's your right to vote, at least here in this country. And J.R. Jackson's tweet is everyone's enjoying everyone's joking tweets about leaving, but this is my country. I'm not leaving. I'm not scared, and I'm ready to fight for it. And he's right. He really is. If you want to see change, go vote in 2 years. If you want to see change, get your friends to vote in 2 years. It's not 4 years away that there's an election that actually matters. It's 2 years away. It's almost every year there's an election that matters. Start taking more interest in those. As for the sports world, Enes Kantar has a American flag with crying Jordans as stars. Yep. All 50 states are a crying Jordan. Dwayne Wade did a do not want dog meme. DeMarcus Cousins with an emoji of anger, sadness, grief. Joakim Noah screamed, "How?" Joe Theismann said, "This is a night that you can tell your kids about. This will create a worldwide tidal wave." And we keep going. There's a few more. Steph Curry applauded Van Jones for his piece on CNN, where he basically said, it's hard to be a parent tonight. What do you tell your kids? Ricky Rubio said, "Really, America?" Jacob Tammy, "We are about 2 minutes in, but I like President-elect Trump better than candidate Trump." There's some pro.
John, yeah, I think we need to. What about some?
John Daly, "Congrats to my great friend and President of the United States, Donald Trump. How to make America great again, because I know you will. Thank you for putting Americans first." Joel Embiid, "While America is tanking, all we can do is trust the process." Vincent Company, "What the fuck? Let's put all the idiots around the world in power and see what happens. Next gen reality TV." Frank Kaminsky, "What happens next? I seriously don't know." That's at least what Bleacher Report rounded up. There's a lot of them there. And that's all I have. I want to get into some happier stories about sports in just a minute. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only fair that we include some of those that are
Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick congratulated. Bill Belichick's letter was real. That wasn't actually made up from Trump. He's a good friend of his, and he says he's been a loyal friend of his. And let's give the Patriots haters more reasons to.
Yeah. And I feel like even though it's sports, I just want to address our audience last before we wrap up. It's like it's tough if you are not a Trump supporter. It's going to be tough. It's going to be something that you're going to remember, and you have a bad taste in your mouth going forward. But Barack Obama said something yesterday in a small video. It's just like, you're going to wake up tomorrow, the sun's going to rise. You're in a country that allows you the opportunity to vote for something like this. It might not go the way that you want. Trust me, I've been part of a process where continuously we vote for what we wanted, but still we're undermined, and I know that's the feeling that a lot of you have. And it's like, it's going to be tough to swallow, but as Jason said, as JR said, it's like there are things that you can help contribute to. There are things that you can help if you want to feel like you're making a change. Sitting back and just feeling sorry for ourselves is not really going to do anything.
It doesn't do anything.
It will take change in order to move things forward. All right. So I hope you recovered. I'm sure Bruce Willis will come and save us. Armageddon.
Right. Sorry. God. I'm slow on the movie references today, obviously.
All right, and I'll come back, subscribe. It really does go a long way. Twitter, all that good stuff in the comments, and we'll see you guys.